When you're standing in a garage or on a service call and the job calls for pulling refrigerant, the moment you start thinking about the gear you need, a wave of hesitation usually follows. Is the kit worth the price tag? Will it actually fit in the back of my van? And most importantly, will it keep me safe and compliant while I'm working? That's the exact space I'm trying to fill with this review, so you can decide if the Mastercool 69110 recovery system is a real solution or just another piece of equipment that gathers dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the core problem this unit is built to solve. In the HVAC world, you're required by law to recover refrigerant before you can repair or replace a system. And you need a system that can handle the most common blends you'll encounter on the job. If you're an independent tech who jumps from a residential split to a small commercial rooftop unit, you'll be dealing with R134a, R12, R22, and maybe a handful of R410A lines. A recovery system that only handles one type forces you to either buy multiple kits or make do with a less than ideal solution, which can slow you down and expose you to compliance risk. The Mastercool 69110 promises to cover all of those refrigerants, so you can pull, store, and later recycle whatever you find without swapping hardware. The kit arrives as a single package: a half-horsepower oilless compressor, a 30-pound DIT-approved recovery tank, a 60-inch yellow hose, and the necessary fittings. That all-in-one feel is a big plus because you don't have to hunt down a separate tank or worry about whether the compressor you already own is compatible with the hose. The oilless design means there's no need to schedule regular oil changes, which is a real time saver for technicians who already juggle service calls and paperwork. And the built-in high-speed cooling fan keeps the compressor from overheating during longer pulls, which you'll notice if you ever have to recover refrigerant from a larger commercial unit that holds more than a few pounds. Now, who actually benefits from this setup? If you're a mobile HVAC technician who needs a portable, lightweight solution that fits in a service van, the compact form factor of the Mastercool system is a genuine advantage. The tank is small enough to be secured on a shelf or a seat, yet large enough to hold the typical 2,030 pounds you'll encounter in most residential jobs. The automatic low-pressure cutoff is another safety net that many new techs appreciate. It shuts the compressor off once the tank reaches a safe pressure, preventing overpressurization and protecting both the equipment and the environment. For a small shop that does a mix of residential and light commercial work, this unit can serve as a workhorse without requiring a dedicated recovery room. On the flip side, if you run a busy commercial service that regularly pulls refrigerant from large chillers or multi-zone systems, the 30-pound tank may become a bottleneck that you'll find yourself having to pause the job, swap tanks, or even bring a second recovery unit to keep up with demand, which adds cost and complexity. The half-horsepower compressor, while adequate for most smaller jobs, can feel sluggish when you're trying to evacuate a system that's still holding a significant charge. In those scenarios, a higher capacity system with a larger tank and a more powerful compressor will pay for itself in reduced cycle time. A practical weakness that shows up once you start using the kit is the lack of an integrated gauge set. You'll need to have a separate set of pressure gauges to verify system pressures before and after recovery, which is standard for any professional setup, but worth noting if you were hoping for an all-inclusive, plug-and-play experience. Also, the unit's noise level is noticeable more like a small workshop than a quiet residential setting, so you'll want to be mindful of where you run it if you're in a noise-sensitive environment. Another point that often gets glossed over in product blurbs is the certification angle. The Mastercool 69110 is SAE J2810 certified, meaning it meets the industry standard for professional refrigerant recovery. That certification isn't just a marketing badge. It's something you'll need to show during inspections or audits if you're a contractor who needs to prove compliance to an HVAC licensing board. Having a system that's already certified can spare you paperwork headaches later on. Let's talk value. The price sits in the mid-range for recovery kits, and you're essentially paying for the convenience of a single, ready-to-go package that's already certified. That if you compare it to buying a separate tank, a compressor, and a set of hoses from different vendors, you'll likely end up spending a similar amount, but with the added benefit of a unified warranty and a single point of contact for support. For a technician who values simplicity and wants to avoid the mix-and-match risk, the Mastercool System delivers solid value that if you're a hobbyist or a homeowner who only needs to recover a few ounces of refrigerant once a year, you'll probably find.